No, they would have been in a writer's room together, probably something like really high end. It would have been like prestige TV.
Yeah.
They would have been stuck into like the Succession writers room or something like that.
Hello, What's on Stage viewers. It is Alex here, filling in for Tom, who is on holiday. Lucky thing. I am at the European premiere of Liz Duffy Adams's Born with Teeth, the brand new play imagining the relationship between William Shakespeare and Kit Marlowe. The play stars Ncuti Gatwa and Edward Bluemel, and we decided to sit down with the pair to find out what it's like bringing two literary titans to life on the stage. Thank you for watching, and make sure you hit that button below. Let's get to those interviews.
Really, just a few years ago, the news came out that scholars had proven that Marlowe had collaborated with Shakespeare, and it was the most fully formed, at least conception. I mean, it took a lot longer to find what it was that I've ever experienced. It was instantly, I need to be in a room with these guys, if they were in a room together.
We know now that they did collaborate on these plays, and having been in a Marlowe play, at Edward II, and then been to see Richard II, Shakespeare's sort of equivalent, you know that Shakespeare was influenced so much by him. And that's one of the touching things, I think, about this play. Well, I was sent the play because it had a celebrated production in America, which I hadn't seen, and also didn't want to see because I didn't want to be influenced. But I was sent the play and read it and devoured it. And a play about William Shakespeare and Christopher Marlowe. I'd just been in a play by Christopher Marlowe, so it felt like there was this kind of sign. So I just thought we needed to do this.
It's so exciting. It's so nice to take, particularly someone like Shakespeare for me, who obviously has all of the accolades and all of the he's a centre of attention when it comes to sort of Elizabethan literature and plays, and be able to perform him when he didn't have that at all, and him being a sort of naive little ingenue, I think, is something that was really exciting to take on. And there's that looming presence that the audience and we both know his future, but we're finding him in a spot that's sort of where he's incredibly vulnerable.
Well, it's going to be terrible of me to admit, but I didn't know of Marlowe before. I knew a little bit. I knew he was a contemporary of Shakespeare at the time, but didn't know much of his works at all. So that was really nice to discover this incredible playwright and his body of work, and I guess try to bring that to people's minds a bit. It was a real joy to explore making these huge, iconic figures, very real people, and it was just so interesting to see that. Marlowe was a cool kid. I'm happy to have played him.
Ncuti and Edward are a dream. I admire them. I love them. They ooze charisma, and that's not something you can give to someone or you can learn. You either have it or you don't, and they've got it. And so it's just been bliss, actually, to be in a room with them, and the whole team, I should say. And it's an intense process because it's just two people. It's not like doing a Shakespeare play where you have 18. It's just the two of them all day, every day, and they have been brilliant actors to travel along this road with.
I kind of like to give myself formal challenges, and I'd never written a two-hander, and I'd always wondered, how do you do that? How do you keep it exciting if it's just the two of them? Also, to be perfectly honest, it's cheaper to produce, and you want to give it its best chance. But ultimately, it's because what more do you need if you've got these two characters? I didn't want anything to dilute them. I wanted to focus on them. I wanted to see their interaction. I wanted to see them collaborate. I wanted to see what would happen if it was just the two of them.
It's always exciting doing new work. And especially, I read somewhere Liz Duffy Adams writes with a sword as opposed to a pen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is such a good...
That's good stuff.
It's good stuff. And that's what I felt like first reading the script. It was like, this is...
It's so good. It's so nice to say as well. Her words are so lovely to say, and even when we were doing read-throughs, it pops off the page, and it's so fun. And it's always a pleasure to be in something that's not. It has been put on in America, but not been put on in Europe before, and show people something really new.
Peter Hall and Peter Brook, established the company as we know it now in '61. It was their mission that new writing should sit alongside Shakespeare, shoulder to shoulder, sometimes in radical contention with the plays of Shakespeare, sometimes, in harmony. But when Tamara and I joined, just over 2 years ago, it was important to us that we, of course, continued that tradition, that we deepened that tradition, but also that we were able to open things straight in London too, and open things straight into the West End. The Homecoming, for example, by Harold Winter, opened at the Aldwych. It never went to Stratford, it just played in the West End. And so, in one way, Born with Teeth continues that tradition. And I think it's also wonderful that Playful Productions, our partner in this, with Elizabeth Williams, is opening this new play, in the West End, which can be brutal at times, but is we have this new play about these literary giants, about part of our heritage and our inheritance, but that feels very contemporary, hopefully.
And so theatre is for everyone, and trying to make it accessible as possible is always a great thing, especially with these two. Me too as well. I feel like they're such academic figures, it feels like, and it can feel like there's a barrier there, but hopefully what this play does is make them real people and exciting people that you'll want to learn and read about.
Yeah, I think if people come away from this play and decide to pick up a Marlowe play or even read a sonnet or a Marlowe poem or something like that, I think that's so fun to me, the idea that we can introduce people to them.
I'm a playwright now because I fell in love with Shakespeare when I was a teenager. I saw the first play I ever saw was A Twelfth Night, and it created new neural pathways. I was like, I don't know what this is, but this is the world I want to live in, and that's how I found my way into it. And I loved reading actor memoirs and things, and specifically Shakespearean actors, and so specifically Royal Shakespeare actors. And when I was a young wannabe actor, what I would have liked was to be an English actor at the RSC doing Shakespeare. I wanted to be Judi Dench, or someone. And that was sadly barred to me for so many reasons. So the fact that this play ended up in the hands of the RSC is unbelievable. I mean, it almost was painfully, surreally too good.
Thank you for watching this episode. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below. But for the love of Dr. Faustus, Richard II, Edward II, Richard III, Henry IV, Henry V, Henry VI, keep it kind. Hypothetically, if Shakespeare and Marlowe existed today, is there something you think that they could have written? Like something in pop culture at the moment?
Gosh, that's a good question. I don't know, they would have been in a writer's room together, probably something really high end. It would have been like Prestige TV.
Yeah.
They would have been stuck into the Succession writers room or something like that, and forced to talk about the world and make comments on billionaires. Because that's sort of what they were doing, writing about history and writing about the world that we live in and things like that.